someone wants to say that something's dumb or something, it's still, oh, that's gay. We don't need to do that. It's 2021. I had to listen to a lot of that, or it's just, let's stop with that. And then there's also the racism too, because I'd hear it even on my own team when we had someone that would join in at a practice or something that wasn't white. They'd be like, oh, it's interesting to see those people out there. And they meant it as like, that's cool, but it's the othering. That's not okay. My name's Kristin, she, her, and I identify as a lesbian. I wasn't able to come out until a lot later due to a very, very conservative family and conservative areas that I lived in and jobs. And let's put it this way, my mom worked for Focus on the Family. And so it was a little rough because I don't want to ruin her work, but you know, it's a little tough. But anyway, born and raised out here in Anaheim, California, and didn't get into hockey until later. Gosh, I think the first time I saw hockey probably was when Gretzky got traded down here to the Kings.
Yeah.
And I saw it, I thought, this is amazing. And of course, getting to watch him play, I'm like, I want to do that, but it's so expensive that I couldn't do that until it would have been at the very end of high school. I got my gear as a graduation gift from my grandmother. And then in order to pay for hockey, I started working at the Ducks practice facility, which was then Disney Ice, now Anaheim Ice. So that way I could afford it. So started going to games, started playing. Then my grandmother passed, moved to Colorado, Colorado Springs. I started playing in a women's league out there. I started coaching, and just hockey's been a big part of my life. All the way, it helped me through my grandmother's death. It helped me find friends and community out in Colorado. And it's still something, even my little nephews now, they don't call me Aunt Kristin. They don't call me any of that. They call me hockey.
I love that. That's so adorable.
Yeah, it was great. They came up with that. I did not. I had bought them when they were little toddlers, a little hockey set. That's their birth is what brought me and my mom also back out here to California to be around them. But I had bought them a little hockey set, and they had names for all their relatives, but they never called me anything. It'd be like, hey, you. And then I'm like, let's go play hockey. And I guess I said it enough. They decided my name was hockey.
And to this day.
Yep. They're going to be 10 coming up here.
That's so cute. What do you love about hockey?
Oh, I just love the feeling. The pace of it is so fun. I grew up on playing softball and swimming. I played water polo in high school too. And like hockey just took a lot of stuff from, I played basketball a little bit, but I'm 5'4", and I have a very close relationship with gravity. So it didn't work out so well. My half-inch vertical did not help me. And so I just, but I love the game because it was quick. And to get out there and on the ice, I always loved skating. I'd roller skate, rollerblade. And as soon as I got on the ice, I'm like, yeah, I just love this feeling. I love the feeling of flying. I love the feeling of just being able to start, stop, just the quick pace of everything. I like games that are a little more physical. And I've done roller and stuff, but ice hockey is just my jam. I'm so sad that I haven't been able to play in about 10 years now, just due to cost and time restraints and really not having a team out here that I can play for. It's harder as an adult to find something out here if you aren't already a part of a friend group. It's hard to break into a team. That's another thing that would draw me up to LA, because there are women's teams and there's also queer teams up there that you can join as an adult. And I just making the drive all the way up to wherever I need to go from here is just not really feasible right now, but eventually. And I love that. And I love the women's league I played for in Colorado, the travel. I think some of my best time was off the ice too, with some of my,
Yeah. That community building, that friendship, the bonds you make.
Absolutely. And it's such a small community once you get in there. I think you can say that about a lot of different things, and you're just running across the same people, the same stuff over and over again, you know, when you're playing.
Mhm.
That was a nice truck. All right. But it's pretty cool, you know.
How could hockey be better for you and for the queer community?
I think one of the biggest things, and it's something right now I'm actually kind of struggling with my nephews, is just being aware of the language we're using, the stuff that we're saying when we're sitting there in the locker room, and there's someone wants to say that something's dumb or something, it's still, oh, that's gay. We don't need to do that. It's 2021. I had to listen to a lot of that, or it's just, let's stop with that. And then there's also the racism too, because I hear it even on my own team when we had someone that would join in at a practice or something that wasn't white. They'd be like, oh, it's interesting to see those people out there, and they meant it as like, that's cool, but it's the othering. That's not okay.
Yeah, it's a microaggression at the very least.
Absolutely. And I think also, as far as for queer people, it's like there aren't a ton of pride nights out there yet for hockey, and there's definitely personally my team out here, they've done it. I've gone to the Ducks pride night, but it's very much like, oh, I mean, we got the little caps and everything, and great, it's got the rainbow flag on it, cool. It's in a corner over here in the team shop, and there's really nothing going on to celebrate it. We don't do anything to celebrate, as you well know, any queer players. It's definitely not an open environment. I think what you're doing right now is part of what's going to help, because the more that we see people out here and know that we've always been here and we're a part of the game, I think the more that it's going to be accepted, and the more that we're going to change the language and change everything. But it's definitely, when I was there at the Pride night, I'm like, oh, it's like a regular night. And there was like half the arena booing when they announced that it was Pride night. And I'm like, you know, and maybe it's better for other teams. Maybe it was different for the Kings, you know, they do a lot
Right.
more, but it's still something that is so like, no, we don't do that. Where it's the toxic masculinity kind of, oh, we're real tough, and, you know, and y'all just a bunch of dykes and fact, you know, all the
Yeah, no, totally. I think we have to, hockey has to do a better job of humanizing and educating everyone, from fans to players to everyone, so that it is a safe and welcoming space for us.
Yeah, and it's such a fun game. And it's just very unfortunate that between the homophobia, the racism, just the cost issues, and the way that you have to be able to even afford it. Then you have to have the ice even available. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that keeps people from hockey and keeps it this very exclusive small club kind of thing, and it shouldn't be.
Completely.
It's such a great game, and I feel like if anyone gets to play it from you know, floor hockey, I help coach with Special Olympics and stuff too, with their floor hockey program, to street hockey, to foot hockey, to ice hockey, to whatever kind of hockey. I think people, especially if you already like stuff like lacrosse, soccer, basketball, you're gonna love it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not, you know.
So knowing all this about the sport and whatnot, what keeps you in it?
I love the game. I loved being a player. It's exciting to watch. And I don't want anybody to tell me that something's off limits to me. I understand, and I feel sometimes like it's not the most welcoming space, but you know what? No, this game is, you say hockey's for everyone, so I'm going to stay here even if it's uncomfortable, and I'm going to make you uncomfortable too until you figure out I'm the person that loves it, you know. And I'm not going to give up something just because someone says, hey, no, not for you, this is for, you know, real men, real hockey players or whatever. No, I'm going to stand by you. You say hockey's for everyone, and I'm here.
I love that. Yeah, I love your passion, and it's energizing. What gives you hope for queer people in the sport?
Honestly, you're one of the brightest lights here, standing out, telling your story and talking about what happened to you in your career. I think that that's minds, because that puts a human face to it, and somebody that's out here saying, no, I'm not just going to shut up. When Curtis Gabriel's out there being a great ally, I love what he does, and that he just also takes ownership. Like if he accidentally goofs up and says something or whatever, and it doesn't quite come out right or something, he owns it. And I think he's a great ally. I think what I'm seeing now with the Kraken coming into the league, I think Seattle really going to change a lot. And I honestly, I bought a t-shirt. I'm like, you know what? If you're going to really change hockey and you're going to make it something where we've got people of color now in it and they're welcome, and the organization's going to support the city, everybody in the city, not just like here. I mean, the Ducks have done it. I don't know if they're still doing stuff in the poor areas. That's how I came into it. But there's so much more stuff that happens in Irvine, in some of the rich areas, and they just cater to the ones that can't afford it. Whereas I'm seeing with Seattle, they're talking a lot about going into the community, and they're making it available for everybody. And they're hiring people of color, they're hiring women, they're getting into all that. I think that team, as long as they stick to it and go with what they've talked about with creating a more diverse team, I think that will change and make waves. And especially if they can have the same success like Vegas did in their inaugural season and continue to have, there's, unfortunately, it's like if they come out and they're not that great, that's kind of common for a new team. Yep. But if they come out and they're just killing it, that adds even more credence and more to their message too, and more people listen, because it's unfortunate, but people do listen to winners first, and so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for seeing the queer representation and all that in the NWHL. I think that's awesome. I think it's cool that they've got some teams, and we're getting rolling a little bit more with that. Of course, I'd love to see more of it on TV, just like with the NWSL and WNBA. We need to see it. But we're making progress. So I like that. I like that I see more players stepping up and talking and saying stuff and calling out racism, calling out homophobia. It's not where it should be, but you never heard a peep from anyone before. And now there's peeps happening. And so that's good. You've got organizations, the Black Girl Hockey Club that I've been following.
They're
amazing.
Renee is revolutionizing the sport.
Absolutely. I love it. And I feel like she has helped embolden me to want to be out there. Like I was talking about before with, I'm not going to go away. She's doing that. And she's doing it in a much bigger way, and for something that's really tough, because hockey is very racist. And just stepping up saying, no, I'm not giving up my game. This is my game, and I'm going to be here, and I'm making space for me and everyone else. And so seeing all those things happen, that gives me hope for the game. We're not just staying quiet and following that old school, everybody shut up, you gotta, just be in line and be like the rest of us.
I love that. Again, your passion and your thoughtfulness is incredible. Like, it's inspiring. You're giving me goosebumps.
Thank you.
Kristin, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I don't know. I'm one of those people that I'm probably going to sit here and replay everything and think about it later and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. But right now, I just, I feel just so excited and so pumped up about this project and the work that you're doing, because the more that we get out there and the more that we say, hey, we're here, we're a part of this, we're actually pretty cool if you just talk to us, we're just have space here. And, I think the more that all this stuff, like you're starting to see it, all this stuff starts to break down, and you start realizing, looking at each other as human beings, and that is just going to help the sport, because we are lagging behind just about every other sport right now, and it's unfortunate, but we can change it, and this is all part of changing it. So right now I'm just kind of pumped up about it.
Well, I'm glad you're pumped up. I'm grateful for you being in the sport and taking space in the sport and being your authentic self, because it matters so damn much. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. It does matter. And you matter. And everybody that's stepping in here and saying, no, we're all out here and we're going to tell our stories. And I think it's just the greatest thing. We're all friggin' awesome.
We are. It's an incredible community. Thank you, Kristin.
Oh, thank you.